This video is for all of us that need a little help choosing our colors for projects. And so I'd like to give you a quick introduction to color theory. Nothing too demanding here, just to get us started with colors. Most of you are familiar with the color wheel, and there are certain relationships on the color wheel that promote a harmonious or good feeling as far as the combination visually on a project. I'm going to use a term called adjacent. Notice down here, two colors next to each other are said to be adjacent on the color wheel. All right, there's three basic theories of choosing your colors. It can get a lot more in depth than that, but there's primary, secondary, and what are called tertiary colors. I probably won't get to all of these in our quick intro here, but you might hear me say one of those terms. All right, what's the goal of color theory, or knowing the right combinations for a project that you have to do for a class? Well, the goal is to create a harmonious feeling, colors that work well together and are pleasing together. That's an art in itself. There's a lot of trial and error that goes with it, but I have a couple tricks that I use that I want to share. One of the tricks that I use is thinking about color combinations that professional sports teams use. Professional sports like the NFL, they pay big money for professional designers to come up with pleasing colors that will work, because they make I don't know how many millions on selling jerseys and other team paraphernalia. So, for instance, the Vikings color scheme, if we're looking at the color wheel, choosing one color on the color wheel and going directly across from it. And so the Vikings jersey scheme here is yellow and purple, or yellow and violet, and colors across from each other on the color wheel often work well. For instance, the Broncos color scheme, they've got orange and a blue-violet going on. So again, they're using a color scheme called complements. Colors that are on the opposite side of the color wheel tend to go well together. Another color scheme that works well is going across the color wheel from yellow to violet here, and then choosing one over. So for the Baltimore Ravens, very similar to the Vikings, you go from yellow and the violet, but then they chose a color next to the violet, so they split off from the complement. That's why it's called a split complement. They split off from the direct opposite and went to blue-violet. Here's Minnesota Wild, also a split complement, so green to red, but the Wild uniform is more of a red-orange, so they split off a little bit to get a more pleasing color combination in that designer's mind. San Francisco 49ers, they use a different color scheme on their helmets and their jerseys. This is called analogous. And so what they're doing here is they're picking colors that are next to each other. You got reds and tans. I'm not showing all the possible colors in the color wheel, but the colors that are here are actually colors that are next to each other. And that is another way to determine what colors to choose for a project. So I know that was very quick, very general, but if you're having trouble, you're getting stuck on what colors to use or what are good combinations to use, think about one of your favorite sports teams and go from there.